Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Rakshamam Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Pahimam Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Rakshamam Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Narmade Hara Rakshamam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the spring season in India. Nowadays, because of change in the environment, there is change in the seasons. In India, we had 6 seasons. We had 6 seasons, and every season consisting of 2 months. Summer, rainy, autumn, dew, winter, and spring. Except the Himalayan valleys, in most part of India, the spring season comes, making many trees dropping their leaves, and the new leaves come and flowers come within a few days. So most of the trees decorate themselves with new leaves. So during spring season, the most famous festival, it is known as Vasanta Rasa. It is the festival related to Lord Krishna, and the festival is color festival, and in few days color festival would come. Just like in spring, the Mother Earth decorates herself with colorful leaves, flowers. In the same way, people color their heart with love for God. Remember, I am telling coloring their heart and mind with love for God, and externally also they use color powder, the Holi color festival. After a few days, this color festival will come. Although one day is celebrated in some part of India, color festival, but in many places it continues for over 10 days, few days before full moon and few days after full moon. So according to the lunar calendar, today is Saptami, 7th moon. In 8 days, we will have full moon. So during this special period, we hear for the first time celebrating this retreat, and this retreat in India, I don't know, before we had such a long retreat with Western devotees. It is for the first time, such a long retreat. Second thing, it is for the first time in this place. So I am happy that you all have come here to participate. And you know, it is a silent retreat. To maintain silence for a longer period of time. I don't know, many of you have experienced observing silence. To observe silence is really a beautiful experience. So, as today we had a day of doing little seva, little bit of cleaning outside. We know India, although a spiritual country, externally needs a lots of cleaning. Externally it needs a lots of cleaning. And those who have been coming to India, they know it. This ashram premises, as it is a new building, it is quite clean. If we go into nature where human beings have not gone, suppose you walk in the forest, it is clean. Nature is clean. But we, the human beings, wherever we go, in some way or other, we pollute. And especially imitating waste without taking or without following the good values from West, we create lots of garbage here. For example, in my childhood, there was no use of plastic and polythene. It was a very new thing in the world also. In the West, because of education, training, and a very systematic process of recycling, this creation of garbage there is creation of garbage, but they manage it, waste management. In India, it is really a big mess. So, I thank you all for participating in such a nice event, going to clean. In future, if we plan this type of cleaning, it can be done very early in the morning, before the sun becomes strong. By 10 o'clock, it can be finished. If we want to do, or if there is plan to do such type of cleaning. So here is a question. Can we have retreat like this one every year? Oh, so I think I am not the right person to ask this question. You have come to this retreat, and I have come here as a visitor, a visiting guest. So I came here for only few hours, and most of the hours are already spent. So, if you like this retreat and if you want this type of retreat, so those who organized, you contact them, and those who are organizing here, you should request them. Could you please give us some background on the temples we visited today and the Swami at the end? As I came here for a few hours, I thought it would be good to have some question and answer, because you might be curious to know or to ask some question to Prajnanananda. Pilgrimage is a part of human life. No matter whichever religion one follows or practices, there are places of pilgrimage. And in India, this tradition of pilgrimage is very old. And on the other hand, India being the very old country and culture, so pilgrimage is, you can say, it is very old in India. The places of pilgrimage were originally on the lap of nature, either in the mountain tops, source of rivers, on the bank of river, or the confluence of the river and the sea, or on the seaside. So Amarkantak is one of the places of pilgrimage. We have discussed the significance of Mother Narmada and the spiritual importance of this place. From this place, Mother Narmada is originating and slowly flowing down. If you have observed today, where we were taking bath at the end, there were two ponds. And the pond where, the first pond where we were sitting, the gents, in a small outlet, there was little flow of water coming to our ponds. So it shows the original water flow of the river. According to, there is debatable question, where is the source of Narmada? So the Puranic description and people believe that the pond where we did puja, that is the source of Narmada. So the temple campus which we visited, it is the temple of Mother Narmada and temple of Lord Shiva. Where we did little puja near the pond, as it is the source of water, and the temple dedicated to Mother Narmada was the one, and facing it there was temple of Lord Shiva. Here in India, we attributed the form to the formless. You just think, a river, and we attributed a form of a divine mother. And we had many loving stories, as I told you, how Narmada was born, how she was playful. We discussed it. So it is Puranic description, but we attributed a human nature to Mother Narmada. Today the priest was telling the Mother Narmada is always youthful, and she is, according to some Puranic description, is always 6 years old. Mother Narmada is always 6 years old. She is not growing more than 6. Always 6 years old girl. However, the main temple is Mother Narmada's temple. Where we did puja, it is to the river Narmada. The temple is the Divine Mother Narmada. In front of Divine Mother Narmada, there was the temple of Amarkantakeshwara. Some they say Amarkanteshwara. So, Lord Shiva and Parvati. So, in the temple campus, there are many other small temples. For example, we went to one temple where there is Lord Rama with his family. There is another temple we did not go. It is a new and bigger temple. It is also dedicated to Lord Rama. Another Shiva temple we went. It is the temple of Ekadasa Rudras, 11 aspects of Lord Shiva. So it is a small temple campus we visited. And the purpose of visiting a temple, to remember that this human body is a temple. Human body is a temple. In this temple, God is remaining. Just like we want to clean the temple campus or clean the river, similarly we should clean our mind, clean the source of life. So this is. Can you explain about the practice to be conscious of breath? Thank you. What to explain? It is a simple technique, practical and very effective technique. Yesterday evening, we visited a monk who lives nearby. He's a very interesting monk. When we visited him, quite a few other monks were visiting him. So many of them have heard about us, but we never met each other. So they were curious about we and asking many things about Kriya Yoga, about our ashram, about what we do we really sing, do we have practice of little devotion in our life, and so on. Hundreds of questions. What is Kriya Yoga? It was a short meeting, but with lots of questions. The foundation of Kriya Yoga is breath. Breath is the principal aspect of Kriya Yoga. With breath to love God. If there is no breath, there is no life. If there is no breath, there is no world to us. Suppose if my breath stops, then what happens to me? I have to leave all of you, I have to go. So my so-called world or my play in the world comes to an end with end of breath. Breath is God. Breath is God. In the Bible it is said God is spirit. One meaning of spirit is breath. So God is breath. In the Upanishadic prayer it is said, Namo Brahmane, Namaste Vayo, Tomeva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. You are direct Brahman. You are Brahman, you are God. I bow to you, O Vayu. Vayu outside is breath inside. So breath is Brahman. To love breath means to love life. Inwardly, to observe every breath of ours, and with every breath to be humble. Remember, why? If breath stops, where is your money? If breath stops, where is your beauty? If breath stops, where is your family? If breath stops, where is your education, status? Everything is gone with breath. Not only that, this breath is giving us the chance to love God Himself or herself. So to be conscious of breath means to observe every ingoing and outgoing breath, the friction of air inside the nostril. The other thing of being conscious of breath is loving God's creation. Anyone who is living is breathing. Anyone who is living is breathing. These plants we see, they are breathing. The insects, the animals, all are breathing. So loving breath means loving life, respecting God and God's creation. So try to remember and thank God in every breath. How do we love without attachment? Is this really possible in a relationship? How do we let go of wishes and desires? Love is an attitude. Love is an attitude. Love is an understanding. Love is a recognition. Love is an expression. Ordinarily we thought love means to hold somebody or something. But can we really hold? You can hold the hand, but you cannot hold the heart. You can hold the hand. You can hold the person, but you cannot hold the heart, because love is a play of the heart, from heart to heart, so it is not hand to hand. Ordinarily people thought that loving means holding, not living. Loving means being attached and not letting the others to go. Look at this world, look at this creation. Sarvam anityam, sarvam kshanikam. Sarvam anityam, everything is temporary. Sarvam kshanikam, everything is momentary. Everything is impermanent. If everything is impermanent, how can you hold? When everything is impermanent, how can you hold? So here what happens? Love is recognizing each other's beauty, recognizing each other's, importance in life, respecting each other, helping each other to grow. Where we hold anything, we do not let them grow. Holding means possessing, it is play of ego. Remember, attachment is a play of ego. Attachment is because of fear. Attachment is not helping a person to grow. So, true spirit of love is recognizing each other's beauty and helping each others to grow. We can live with inner detachment. We can live with proper understanding, loving, and helping each others to grow. How do we let go of wishes and desires? Desires or wishes are of two types. One is, for example, I want to change myself, I want to meditate, I want to grow up. This is also wish. The wish that brings attachment, emotional binding, they are painful and they do not help us to grow. The wishes which help us to evolve, to rise above attachment, to grow in the true spirit of love is not a binding wish or binding desire. So we need some wishes or desires, but those wishes and desires should not be binding. No one can give up desires or wishes completely. We have to grow with some wishes. Only the wishes or desires can drop completely either in deep sleep or in deep meditation. Otherwise, we need some wishes or desires to help us to move. Can you tell more about this forest? Why are all the trees are the same and more or less same size? Forest is a natural creation. Garden is a human creation. Forest is a natural phenomenon. Although nowadays, after destroying lots of forest, we are trying to create forest. But forest, they maintain by themselves. You will say, if there are tall trees, where are the small trees? This forest where we are living, I asked you in the morning, do you know what type of trees they are? I told you these are the sal trees. The sal tree forest cannot be created so easily. It is a nature created forest. Now this is the blossom time. I don't know, while coming from the cleaning work, while coming back, have you experienced very mild and gentle aroma of blooming sal flowers? Very sweet, aromatic. Can you imagine? These flowers are aromatic. And I asked you in the morning, do you know the gum of this tree? Gum of this tree is used in the temple worship, making holy smoke. Nowadays, we use this incense stick. This practice of incense stick is quite modern. In the old time, when we were making smoke, it was not with the incense sticks. I remember in my childhood, we used to have this gum. Sometimes we make powder of these gums. And those who have gone to Prachi Parikrama, they might have seen in a clay pot, we were making smoke and pouring some, this is the gum of this tree. So the gums have also aroma. When they come in contact with fire, they create beautiful aroma. So these trees are very special trees and very strong and long living trees and long living durable wood. The sal trees, very strong. And the seed has oil, and this seed, if you plant it, you will not get the tree. If you plant this seed, you will not get the tree. Just like you take banyan seed and plant it, you will not get the tree. This afternoon, when we came out of the temple campus, I showed some people there is a huge peepal tree. And then I looked at the peepal tree is coming from a temple. The temple is gone because of the peepal tree. The peepal tree and its roots have completely, covered up the temple. It's not a huge temple. Similarly, sal trees, if you plant the seed, you will not get the tree. There is a natural process of growing, and if there is forest fire, if there is a sal seed, if it bursts with the fire, then it comes into soil and rainwater, it grows up. And these trees live very long and very tall. So However, when you reminded me that why these trees are of same size, that means it is speaking of equality, fraternity, love. So, should agriculture go high-tech robots, genetic engineering, etc., or should we work with hand and oxen? I don't know from where you are getting all this. Look, I live in a country, or I am born in a country where we have lots of people. We have plenty of work, and machines are making people lazy. And not only lazy, you just think this electronic gadget in the hand of people, it is not only lazy, it is making people crazy. You can't imagine what is going on. This so-called communication, so-called different, social networking, it is really not bringing a healthy relationship. It is making lots of social troubles. This morning I was doing, not this morning, yesterday morning, I was doing exercises, and two other Swamis were there, and while doing these exercises, then I told, do you remember this type of exercises the mothers were doing during when they were grinding, they were doing all these exercises nowadays. So we stopped the little bit of manual work, and now you just think you run on the treadmill, for example. Go away from easy, natural way of life and run in a closed room on a machine. What type of life it is? So, however, does God, Creator, have a personality? If so, describe your experience of it. I don't know your God, but my God is different from your God. You will ask, is it so? Look, in every religion, there is a description of God. I remember a funny incident. A group of preachers in Europe knocked the door of a person who opened the door and welcomed them, come in. And when they went inside, they looked at the wall and they found the picture of Kriya Masters. And when they found the picture of Kriya Masters, it is a real happening. The preacher said, oh, you practice something. It is all right, but be careful. He said, what is to be careful of? Be careful of hell. What is to be careful of hell? He said, not he, the group, they said, the hell of the Christians are much better than the hell of the Hindus. The hell of Christians better than the hells of, I don't know how they found it. So because of that, I made this funny remark of your God and my God. God is a mystery, and my God is my breath. If my breath is my God, and your breath is your God, and tell me what personality your breath has. Personality coming from the original word persona. Original word persona. Persona means a mask. Persona means a mask. We put a mask on our face, and we live in this world having a mask, and nobody wants to give up this mask. Because if we give up the mask, we are exposed. We are exposed. So we always try to hold our mask, and very nicely we move with mask. So God has no mask. God is as it is. So God has no persona or personality. When is your book on Yogananda coming out? Wait, it is in the thought form. The book is in the thought form. I will tell you a story about thought form. There was an oil man in the ancient India. So people, oil man, milk man, fisherman, washerman. So there was one oil man. So the oil man, every day, he has one small oil mill to extract oil, and carrying the oil in clay pot on the top of his head, goes from village to village, pressed oil and selling. That was his business. So while walking, because they have natural way of balancing it, without holding, they could walk. The pot is on the top, clay pot. So he is walking. While walking, he is thinking, this thought power. I am taking one pot and selling it every day. If I'll have little more money, if I have 2 pots of oil, instead of carrying on head, I will carry it. In India, they carry like a lever system, 2 pots on 2 sides of a bamboo. So I will carry like this 2 pots, I will sell double. When I sell double, my income will be doubled. So I will have a lot of savings. When I will have a lot of savings, instead of carrying oil by myself, I will carry oil on the back of the bullock cart. So I can go to few more villages and sell it, and then my business will increase. And instead of going and selling it, I can hire other people who can take and sell, and I will have a godown. I will be, the wholesaler. So when I will have my business and I will marry, I will have a lot of money. He is going and thinking. So when I will marry and I will have a son, and I will be sitting in business, and my son will come to call me to have breakfast or lunch. So sometimes, when he will call me, and I will be sitting there on my, when I will be a big businessman, I have my, cushion and all this, I will be sitting. I am busy. Now I am not going to go to have breakfast. Go, tell your mother. So when he moved his head like this, the oil pot fell down. So when you are asking about when is the book on Yoganandaji coming out, so that is in the thought form. So I am not oil man carrying oil on my pot, but hopefully God and Gurus will inspire or motivate. Let us see. All the time I remember God, it is only during meditation. I think of the Gurus. How is it possible to think of both of them all the time? To me, God and Gurus are one. God and Gurus are one, they are inseparable. Although the Gurus, they are historical personalities, and they are having different physical forms. For example, if I speak of Gurudev Baba Hariharanandaji, he has beard. When I speak of Paramahamsa Yoganandaji, has no beard. So, but essentially, to me, they are all one with God. So when I remember God, I remember Gurus. When I remember Gurus, remember God. Because to me, they are 2 sides of the same coin. When is the best time to bow at your feet? I sometimes feel hesitant. So What happened?
It's a trick question, Baba.
Which question?
That question.
Trick.
Trick question. For you.
So, I don't know, maybe during sleep. It will save my time, it will save your time, you will not be hesitant. If you bow to somebody during sleep, so you need not to be hesitant. And during sleep, neither your time is wasted nor the teacher's time is wasted. However, tomorrow early morning I have to leave. So before I leave, maybe few minutes. I am curious how a realized person sees the world on daily basis. So it is none of your business or none of my business. So being curious, instead of being curious, then be realized and you will know how does it look like. Can you please give us some tips to increase our willpower and discipline? How to increase willpower? How to increase? Look, if you decide to do something, do it. If you decide to do something, you do it, and you might face little difficulties, little problem. If you are persistent in doing it, and if you are becoming successful, then your willpower will increase. Once you follow one, not too many things to do, one thing, and persistently try to do it, doing it, and when you really become successful, it will help you to increase your willpower. We want to be better. We want to change our habit. We want to be a very nice, loving person. Do you know what happens? We want everybody should love us. We want everybody should be loving us. But do we love everybody? However, when you ask this question to increase your willpower, again I am telling you, make one policy and be strict to it. And see how you are following it. And discipline, you know, during this Shivaratri, when you had monks initiation, one old man, he's really very old, and who has cooked food for Sanyal Mahasaya, who has cooked, he was a cook, he was Brahmin and cook in many ashrams. He has spent lot of time with many great masters. So one morning he came and he told, I am trying to change my habits to discipline myself. At least I have given up tea for last few days. Given up tea for last few days. I was happy to hear this because, you know, in our ashram, mostly at Balighai, we don't have tea. And for the January program, we are forced to open a tea stall. We are forced to open a tea stall because if we do not provide some tea in the ashram campus, people go to nearby shops outside the ashram to take a cup of tea. So we are so much slave to our own habits. We are slave. If there is no tea, So when I came here, I saw people sitting holding a small cup of tea. Oh, tea is here. So if we are like this, what type of discipline we need, what type of willpower we need? Willpower means, I told you the other day, maybe yesterday, when we have come to such a holy place, it is known as Tapobhumi. It is known as Tapobhumi, the place of penance and austerity. So such a sacred place. Do you know, in the question I forgot, somebody asked about the monk we visited. This afternoon when we came back from the temple, we visited two monks. I visited two monks. We visited one, I visited two. So the monk we visited, he is one of the oldest monks living in this area, a very nice, loving monk. His name is Swami Narmada Ashtakam. I didn't know about him because I have not come so often here. In Amarkantak area, there were few nice personalities. One was very old and he was very good in Ayurveda. His name was Gopal Baba. Many people spoke many things about his age. He passed away a couple of months ago. So there was a very nice person. He was a householder man, but he came from South India. And while wandering in India, he stopped here in Amarkantak. His name is Nagaraj. He passed away. Few days ago, he passed away. He was a householder. I have met him. Very nice person. He has his own philosophy. And even the ex-president Abdul Kalam was coming to him. So like this, there are two are gone, few old people, they are here. One is this Narmada Ashtakam. He is a very nice, humble, loving person. I came to know about him as he visited few months ago Balighai. So there we came in, I came to know about him, and last time when I came, I visited him. So this time I heard that he is leaving Amarkantak tomorrow. So while going, I went to see him. I could not. While coming back, we met him. And another old monk, I met him. He doesn't go so much outside. He doesn't ask anybody anything. He lives in his clay huts. Few monks, they live together, very old monk. So if you want to increase your willpower, I am telling, at your home you can do something. For example, I will not take sugar or sweet for a month. Just stop it. I will not take sugar or sweet for a month. I will not take tea or coffee for a month. You can do all these experiments and you can see how your mind is playing trick. How your friends try to tell you what is wrong. Take a cup of tea. If you cannot take a cup of tea, I cannot take it. So for my sake, you take it. So Swami Brahmanandaji was known as a very humble, silent monk who loved seclusion. Therefore, he established a small ashram in a remote area. Would he have been happy with this extension and the lots of people who will come in future? Thank you for your question. Do you know? If a monk wanted to live in complete seclusion, would have made a hut only for one person, not for two. There are monks. There are monks. The heart is as good as enough for one person, not for two. Not for two. This is what seclusion is. When you make another room for a visiting monk or visiting guest, that means you want, answer me. Very simple. You want company, and you welcome company, because if you do not have a second room, if somebody comes before evening, you will tell, find your own place. Sorry, I have no place for you. So, Brahmanandaji is a nice monk, he is a loving monk, and he started this, and when you plant a seed, remember the seed will grow. When you plant something, it will grow. He had few rooms for the visitors. He had a nice meditation room for quite a few people. It was not that if I want to meditate, a small room, that is enough. I need this place for meditating. So I need a meditation room where how many people? He had a meditation place for what he is telling, because he was in charge of construction. So from this you can know what is being done, it is good. What is being done is done. There is no question of, what is the name of Sri Yukteswar Giri's Sannyasi Guru? Please tell something about him. The name of the monastic guru of Swami Sri Yukteswarji is Swami Krishna Dayal Giri. His name is Swami Krishna Dayal Giri. He is from Bodh Gaya area. And this much I know, he was a Mahant. Mahant means head of one monastery in that area. This much I know. I do not know more than this. By coincidence or somehow we could find a picture of him. So a picture is available in biography book of Swami Sri Yukteswarji. So that picture you can see, that is the only picture. It is not such a great quality, but you can see the picture. Now the last question. What were you like before you were a monk? So instead of asking me, you could have asked this to quite a few people. Even at Balighai, those who have seen me before I was a monk. Before I was a monk, I had short hair and short beard. I had white colored clothes. I had a different pattern of clothes, and I was teaching. And quite a few people in West also have seen me, especially from Europe, before I was a monk. I came to West in 1994, before I was a monk. So if you want to do some investigation or become a correspondent or reporter, or you can meet the people, my friends, my relatives, my co-workers. Do you know, the day I left for Amarkantak, Raipur, I was in Puri train station. So when I was in Puri train station, from distance I saw one face coming. He was my old colleague. We taught together. And one after him, 3 people came. They are professors. So they are working in Puri College. They are coming from Bhubaneswar every day by train and going back. So for few minutes, we had, the old association, old company. By nature, I am the same person as I was before, as I am now. Not so much of change in me. So, that's all. Your questions are over. I think the time is also almost over. And what more? Sometimes I think when there was no microphone, sound system, we have also microphone sound system here, but we use a little bit in a disciplined manner. People, and especially in India, India is a country of freedom. The dogs and cats, cows and cattle, they have their own freedom, they have their own rights, So here is a country of freedom. Nobody understands so much, if there is a sound system, people shout so loud. I remember Gurudev told me, because Gurudev grew up without microphone, and when he was talking an audience, he was speaking a little louder, and it becomes a habit. And when there is a microphone, you do not know that how loudly you are speaking. So when Gurudev came to West, sometimes people said, those who are near him, can you speak little? Gurudev told me how he learned with how much, intensity, or how much loud one should speak. If one speaks too loud, it is what? It is a noise pollution. If one shouts, it is impolite. Sound pollution, and people do this. In India, they do Sankirtan. Day and night, they do 24 hours Sankirtan, Akhanda Sankirtan. Okay, you do it in your room, inside your house. If you need little sound, because for the singers, it is a little bit relief. But how loud? And putting the sound system outside and making, when we had opening of this building last month, one evening they had singers. They wanted to sing. I told, shut down. They have come from Bilaspur, they have to sing. I said, whether they have come from Bilaspur or anywhere, make it slow and sing it. Not to make too loud, because it is a spiritual place. People should, those who are living in silence or living in a little bit in quiet atmosphere, we should not make too noisy. And it is nice that we have a silent retreat. We do not talk too loud. I hope it can be even quieter. So yesterday, few people were taking food with us in the evening. So there was, a senior police officer. There was a prominent journalist. So like these 4 different types of people. One politician. So one was telling, they were appreciating so many people taking food, but they were taking food so quietly. Then for them it is new to have, to me it can be, or it could be much quieter than as we are now. Try to observe silence more. If really it is needed to be talked, you can write it or you can talk in a very low voice, and in a strict sense of silence, not to have even eye contact. In a strict sense of silence, not to look at each other's eyes. I'm not telling to be too strict, but we can create one example. Many people today were asking from where they are and why they have come. It is for the first time our presence. And even if when we are going, for example, I heard that there is a plan to go to few places nearby. When we go, let us go really in silence. If there is somebody who is explaining about the place, let he talk. If we can create a good example that here you people means those who are all around, you are too noisy and we are much quieter. Just like today in the newspaper caption, today there is news, it is big news. So we create dirt and people from West have come to clean. It has a good message, that was. And similarly, we can create a good example that with our conduct, our activities, that we are different from others. It is not to show, but it is a way of discipline. It's a way of discipline. Yesterday I told you in a joke, if I would have been the organizer, how I would have done. Do you know about food, about the bed? Suppose you go for, I told you yesterday, suppose you go for the riverside or going, and when you come back, your room is well cleaned. Only no bed, no mattress, only 2 seats like this. It was a joke, but the joke is, the message is, we should love how to adjust and accommodate. So thank you all. My love to all of you.
I want someone to talk about taking a dip. About taking a dip.
Taking a dip. Why did you not write question answer finished? You see, among all the elements, water is the only element which is highly essential for life. Where there is no water, there is no life. Where there is no water, there is no life. That's why our scientists have been trying to explore, is there is water in moon, in Mars, in Jupiter. If there would be water, then there might be life. And if there is water and there is no living beings, we can think we can go there. However, water is life. And water is a symbol. Water is a symbol of purity. Water is a symbol of love. We have discussed many times. When we are in deep love, tears roll down. Tear means water. So water is symbol of purity. And if we look, 3/4 of the earth is water. 3/4 of earth is water. And the water which comes through rain, or from the rain to snow or river, or underground water, they are usable water. Water in the sea is, although there is high mass of water, but saline, it is not directly usable. Water is pure. Remember, that which is pure can purify. That which is pure can purify. If something which is not pure cannot purify. Especially in Vedic culture, why Vedic culture? Every ancient culture grew up in the river valley. River is a source of life, not only for the animals living in water, for those who live on the bank, for the trees. River is source of life. And here what happened in India, we considered 7 most holy rivers. How many? 7 most holy rivers. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. So these are the 7 rivers. Narmada, Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu and Kaveri. So out of this, apart from these 7 rivers, the seaside in Puri is called as Tirtharaja Mahodadhi. It is also considered as holy. So, since ancient time, we don't know when people went on pilgrimage, and the purpose was to take a dip in holy river. You just think, now the source of Narmada is so small and the flow of water is so little. So they have preserved through ponds, it is flowing, surplus water is flowing down. And the water which we saw below, you know, the steps where we cleaned and the ground where we cleaned, there is a good mass of water, but again, it is not a continuous, very slow flow, because that is the source, at the source, the same water. So it is kept in, reservoirs with check dams. So the water is flowing down very little. But when you go hundreds of kilometers down, the Narmada is really huge, and you can't imagine, water is really clean and pure. That is why now many people, they are trying to make a campaign that we should have more water from the source, but how? And clean water, continuously flowing water, but how? Where we took deep, the water is not so clean. If we talk from hygienic point of view or clinical point of view, water is not so clean because it is more stagnant. So, in spite of stagnant water, or people come, take dip, and you can see where we sat and did puja, their water is much cleaner. Where we did puja, we sat down, there the water is much cleaner. I was sipping. So, in the source it is clean and pure. And do you know, there will be more water. Even if suppose people here, the government, and even we the visitors, if we really want, we can make water flow stronger. You will say, how? Massive plantation of trees. Massive plantation of trees in these areas will make underground water level to raise higher, and there will be more water streams. There will be more water streams. This morning, when we were in Maiki Bagia, where we started cleaning the first, there is worship of Mother Narmada. People who are doing puja, you might have seen. So there was water stream. In the monsoon time it flows, in summer time it dries up. But I was hearing from a monk, when you all were cleaning, I went to an ashram. So one monk was telling, when he was young, coming there was no well, or there was no, pump water, pipe water. So they were coming and taking dip. There is a small pond where they were doing puja. So there was continuous flow of water throughout the year. So it is drying up. However, come back, taking a dip. Taking a dip, where did we take dip? In Mother Narmada. So we take a dip in Mother Narmada. It is an attitude that I am surrendering myself in my mother whom I love. Taking dip in the river or taking dip in holy water, it means I am surrendering completely myself, just like a child surrenders in the lap of the mother. There are some rules. Those who go on pilgrimage, there are some rules. You should not brush your teeth and you rinse your mouth in holy water. You can sip, do achamana. While doing puja or prayer, we take a little water and sip it. You can do achamana, you can drink. But you should not, no. No one should, if you have, I don't know, few might have read on the wall, it is written in the pond where we took dip, it is written on the wall, don't use oil, don't use soap. So, in the holy places, when one is taking dip, should not use soap, oil or shampoo, just go and dip yourself. This is one. Second thing, not to swim. Not to swim. You see, you are swimming, somebody is swimming and the water from his feet is falling on others. It is disrespectful. And second thing, it is not a, you have come to surrender, to pray, to, so it is a prayerful attitude, not a playful sport. When you take dip, it should be when you go, because there was less time, do a little prayer, bow to the mother and go to her lap. It is also a practice that when you go and dip, take a dip, don't dry your body with dry clothes. So let this same water dry on your body. Let this same water dry on your body. Don't dry your body with dry towel or something. And don't wash your clothes. Don't wash your clothes, or you have a towel or wet clothes, you dip it there and you squeeze it and the same water is going into the river. No. Suppose you have some wet clothes or loins, you bring it out and on the step or outside you can dry it. If you want to wash it, you wash it at your home, not to wash it there. So like this, there are quite a few rules which one should follow. But nowadays what is happening? People don't know. There is no proper education. They make the place unclean. When we were offering flowers, I was hesitant to offer flower in the pond. Then the priest told, after you do it, we'll take it away. And even there was a plastic packet of some sweets. He told the coconut and sweet to offer it, and then I brought the sweets. I don't know, I gave to somebody who was nearby. I brought that plastic packet of some dry sweets. I brought it and gave somebody. So, however, this is enough, I think. Thank you all. God bless you all. So, I will chant Narmada Ashtakam. You close your eyes and listen to the 8 verses on Mother Narmada by Acharya Shankara. Sabindu sindhu suskhalat taranga bhrunga ranjitam dvisat supapa jatakari vari sanyutam krutanta duta kala bhuta bhiti hari varmade todiya pada pankajam namami devi narmade todambuli nadinamina divya sampra दायकं कलौ मलौ घभारहारी सर्वतीर्थनायकं सुमत्सकत्स नक्र चक्र वाक चक्र शर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे महागभीर नीरपूरपातधूत भूतलं नमत्समस्तपातकारी वारिणा पदाचलं जगल्लये महाभये मृकुण्डुसूनु हर्म्यदे त्वदीयपादपङ्कजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे गतं तदैव मे भयं त्वदस्तु दीक्षितं यदा मृकण्डुसूनु सौनकासुरारि सेवितय सदा पुनर्भवाब्धि जन्म संभवाब्धि दुःख वर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे अलक्ष्य लक्ष्य किन्नरामरासुरादि पूजितं सुलक्ष्य नीरतीर धीर पक्षि लक्ष्य कूजितं वसिष्ठ शिष्ट पिप्पलादि कर्दमादि शर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे सनत्कुमार नचिकेत कश्यपात्रि षट्पदैः धृतं स्वकीयमानसेषु नारदादि षट्पदैः रविन्दुरन्ति देवदेव राजकर्म शर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे अलक्ष्य लक्ष्य लक्ष्य पाप लक्ष्य सार सायुधं नतस्तु जीवतन्तु जन्तु तन्तु भुक्ति मुक्तिदायकं विरिञ्चि विष्णु शंकर स्वकीय धाम वर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे अहो धृतं सुनं सुतं महेश केश जातटे किरातसूत बाडवेषु पंडिते सठे नटे दुरंत पाप तापहारी सर्वजन्तु शर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमस्ते देवी नर्मदे इदं तु नर्मदाष्टकं त्रिकालमेव ये सदा पठन्ति ते निरन्तरं न यान्ति दुर्गतिं कदा सुलभ्य देह दुर्लभं महेशधाम गौरवं पुनर्भवा नरा न वै विलोकयन्ति रौरवम् इति श्रीमत्शंकराचार्य विरचितं श्री नर्मदाष्टकं संपूर्णम्. Let Mother Narmada bless each one of us with purity, love, simplicity, humility, joy, spiritual advancement. Just like the river is a continuous flow, let the flow of our breath, flow of our life, flow towards the feet of the divine. Let this retreat bring a turning point in our lives. Let we all be good instruments in the hands of God. As the river is continuously flowing forward, let we all be free from our old habits, negativity. Thank you. I bow to all of you, praying that this place will be a good place for prayer, meditation, contemplation. Om Amen.